Let's take a look at JVM in the domain mode. JVM in the domain mode can be configured in the host XML file or domain XML file. Let's take a look at by default in a host XML file, JVMs tag. Under JVM you can have a name JVMs. So it's basically a configuration setting associated with the name. By default uses the JVM name default. Here's a heap size setting, min heap size, max heap size setting, permanent generation size. Any other JVM option you can able to configure here, like a hyphen server option, so it runs in a server mode. You can able to configure that. It's not necessary on the next Unix platform, especially on a Windows platform you require that. Nowadays JVMs are pretty intelligent enough to runs in a server mode. Actually give you basically what server mode means. When we look at this particular diagram here, you have this generation space available, young space or the ident space and tenured space. This is something that you get in a server mode JVM, and also it actually give you a throughput collector, which is the parallel thread actually trying to do the garbage collection. So that's actually the server mode JVM typically offers. But basically what we're looking at here, how to configure in the domain mode. So it's basically using a JVM tag, you can able to configure a JVM setting. By default in a host XML file, here we are looking at a host slave, the JVM name default will be used by all the servers in that host. Unless it can also be configured in a domain XML file under the server groups. So under the server group, production server group, here you can also have a name JVM. So you have JVM configuration also configured here. So that means if you define it to a server groups, it'll be applicable for all the servers that belong to the server groups. Now it also can be configured in the host XML file within a particular server setting. As you can see here, one of the servers tag, one of the servers production server A. This within the server A itself, you have another JVM setting here, server name, server JVM. So these JVM can be configured in three different places. So which take precedence over the other? Let's take a look at your course material. In your course material, under the title configuring the JVM domain mode, you will see that the setting for each individual server JVM can be configured in 3 different levels, and basically the lower the levels is the higher the priority. So that means the JVM definition in the host XML file can be overridden by the server group level in the domain XML file. Now that one is actually can also be overridden in the server level within the host XML file. So basically the host XML file in the server level in the host XML file will take precedence over anything else here. So let's take a look at an example here with our settings. Our host XML file for the host 2. We are looking at a host 2 here. The host 2 XML file, we got a couple of servers, a dev server 1 and also a production server A. Now we have our JVM settings under the JVM tag in the host XML file, JVM name default. Now the dev server 1 basically actually will use this one, the JVM name default. Now since in the domain XML file we don't have for the server group the dev server group, dev group here, server group, dev group, we don't actually have a JVM's configuration in here. So by default the dev server 1 in here will use this default JVM settings. Let's take a look at that in the management console. Under server configuration, dev server 1, JVM configuration, we don't actually have anything explicitly set, so you don't see anything here. But when I go to the runtime section, runtime tab, JVM for, let's say, host 2, dev server 1, let's take a look at that one. So dev server 1 under runtime tab, JVM settings, you can see that heap usage 247, init 64, basically that's the configuration, initialization, init min heap size 64 meg. Maximum it can go up to 256 meg. And permanent generations actually get to 256, both min and max perm size actually set at 256. So you can able to see that non-heap usage, you can able to see that settings here. Let's take a look at our other server here, the other server here in that host 2 production server array. Now production server array have a special setting associated with that. So a production server under JVM configuration, it has a server JVM is actually being associated with that. So when you look at production server array here in our configuration, you have a special JVM actually being configured. So production server, this actually will take precedent over anything else. Now we do have for production server group, which is actually this production server array belong to, the server group, which is part of the domain XML file. We do have another JVM called production group JVM. Now this is not going to be applicable to this production server array because we have a special setting for production server array. So going back to our configuration in terms of the precedence, the server level in the host XML file will override anything in the server group level. So when you look at the runtime tab, let's take a look at a server instance production server A. Let's select that one under host 2 production server A, and you look at the JVM, you notice that init 756 meg, as you can notice here, init 756 meg. Initial heap size or minimum heap size is 756 meg. Now we have other servers that belong to the server group, production group. Let's take a look at under the host 3 production server B. We have under host 3 production server B. Let's take a look at that one. As you can notice here, that has actually have the minimum heap setting is 1024, which since all these production server group belong to the production servers belong to the production server group. So if you go to the domain XML file, production group, under server group, production group, and then you have a JVM name called production group JVM, and then here if you look at the min heap size 1024. So as you can see here at the runtime for the production server B, the initial size is 1024. So except the production server array under the host 2 has a specific setting under the host XML file, so it's using that one. Everything and all the production server group, production servers under production server group actually will be using the configuration and the domain XML file, the JVM setting and the domain XML file. So going back to the dev1 server, there's nothing configured part of the server group level, and nothing here. As you can see, in the dev server there's no special JVM configuration within the dev server 1, therefore it actually inherit or they use the one part of the host XML file, the default one. So again, this is the order of precedence. So that concludes our JVMs in a standalone mode.